Today, I want to talk about the tipping culture. I am a esthetician, so a lot of my work that I do does require for other people to tip. And today, we are going to see how the culture here in America has gotten way out of hand when it comes to tipping. And as a person that earns money from tips, I completely understand. And also, as a consumer, when I go to places and I have to tip, or unnecessary places like going to Starbucks and they hand you like the tablet for you to tip, how unnecessary that is. And I'll be sharing more as we go, watching these videos, my thoughts on it, and what I think about tipping, because I don't think you gotta tip on every single business. Let's go ahead and watch this one. I watched it before, so I think it's a real thing happening. It's not just a skit.
Some advice.
Excuse me, ma'am. Hey, I just want to see if everything was okay with the service because you left me nothing.
Did you just chase me out of the restaurant to tell me that?
Well, and I just chased you out to ask, but the problem was because like
That's kind of crazy.
Okay, ma'am, I only make minimum wage, so I do rely on tips in order to like feed my family and stuff. So I just wanted to know like what I did because if someone leaves me like $5, $10, I know like on that kind of bill, like maybe I did something like I don't know, maybe
Well,
they just
the
didn't have the
service
money.
was really slow,
The
so
service was slow.
yes.
Okay, but
Now I'm gonna go to my car.
You came here on a Friday night and we are slammed. I had like drinks at your table the second you sat down. Like the
We
bus
had water, but you didn't take our drink order for like another 10 minutes.
okay. I mean, I'm really sorry, but you think that that would warrant me getting like absolutely nothing?
I mean, I do not legally have to tip you. I paid for my meal, I did what I need to, and now I can go home because I have freedom.
Okay, you do, and I want. So it was just a matter of the fact that I didn't get to your drinks in 10 minutes. So that's the reason why.
Everything was slow. The service was slow. And I get that you're really busy, but that's also not my problem. And what are you doing out here? Don't you have tables you should be serving?
Yes, but you know what? I mean, like you guys sat there for 2.5 hours. The check was. Let me just double check. $317, and you left me nothing.
Babe,
Not
I mean,
anything.
come on, babe. Nothing. You can't just tip her a little bit, something.
I don't think that I need to. I have the right to not tip her if I didn't like her service. So I'm sorry. And maybe you can go back in and make more tips.
Okay, you know what? I'm really sorry that you guys didn't enjoy. I want to just let you know that like the national minimum wage for tipped employees is $2.75. Okay, $2.75. So I waited on you for 2.5 hours, 3 hours. I made like $6, and you think that's the level of service? Like I can't even buy my kids like a Happy Meal with that. Like I have kids, I have a family at home, and I want you to know that this is what you like. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna literally feed my kids because I rely on the tips at the end of the night. And you were one of my biggest tables and one of my biggest. So I just wanted to know what it is that I actually did to you. Okay, because I
okay.
Okay, calm down. You're being really erratic right now, and that's also not okay. I feel like I'm being harassed in the parking lot. I did not need to tip you. I am so sorry. How about you get another job if you're not happy at yours?
Okay, babe, come on. Like this, you said you were gonna take care of it.
I work 2 jobs, just so you know. I work 2 jobs. So I work doubles here, and then I also work overnight as a nurse. So I'm a registered nurse who also, I make decent money normally, and I just need to know that if I make $0 on a $318 bill, what the problem was. If it was just that I was slow for the 2.5 hours that you were there and you were deliberating and you told me, come back later, we haven't decided yet, come back later, we haven't decided yet.
Maybe service is slow because you're here yelling at me instead of inside the restaurant. And if you want to tip her so bad, how about you tip her?
Okay, listen, babe. You do this all the time. This is why I didn't want to go out. This is why I didn't want to go out. Okay, like, it's, I would tip her, but you know that I just got laid off. So this is just, come on.
Well, you said you didn't want to cook tonight, so I said I'd take us to dinner. I did not say that I had to tip the waitress. especially if service was slow.
I'm
This
sorry.
is not my problem.
You had 6 cosmopolitans. You sat here, you had appetizers, entrees, desserts. Oh, more refills, and if you don't feel like you need a tip, that's fine. I just need you to know. I don't care if I honestly they can fire me because this is actually like this is ridiculous that people think that people are just gonna be able to like the price of eggs is $10. You didn't even give me enough to buy eggs for my kids in the morning. So I just hope that you feel good about yourselves and have a blessed and wonderful day.
Wow. Let's go ahead and take a look at what people are saying. So, real quick, I want to preface here that I do understand that waiters,
Excuse me, ma'am. I just want to see if everything was okay with the service.
like, I do understand that waiters make money based on their tips, and I feel like waiters at restaurants, it's a little bit bad and the worst industry to work for because they literally do pay you less than $5. I work in the beauty industry, so as an esthetician, we do get paid hourly, but also they don't pay us enough to be able to pay for the things in life. For example, like our rent, our bills, things that we need. They don't pay us enough, but the school does charge you enough as like they charge you a lot to get the certificate to be licensed as an esthetician. But then when you go into the industry of being an esthetician, it takes you a while to actually make money. And whenever they hire you, they don't pay you like as a they don't pay you enough for what you're doing. And so whenever employers hire estheticians and you go on Indeed, it says right there $50 an hour, but they are including the tip that they're projecting from the guest. Also, they could say $15 an hour, and they're including the tip, so it's they pay you even less hourly. Um, the problem is that the employers, they don't want to pay you what you actually earn, what you need to earn, and they expect the guest to give you a tip. So the frustration that we get is that although we understand gratuity, it's like if you like the service, um go ahead and leave a tip, right? But a lot of the times you don't have that money. Like for example, I go and get massages, especially like on my shoulder area, because I work a lot with my hands and I'm always looking down. And so I go and get massages. There's times I don't have enough to leave a gratuity like 20%, 30%. So I end up leaving like $15, $20. That's still a lot of money whenever I had to pay, a lot of bills. And there's months that are good with tips, and there's months that are not good with tips. And also there's months, the same months, that we're not always booked hourly. Like I could have 3 appointments or I could have 1 appointment, and I might make, $20 plus gratuity because I only had 1 appointment that day. Or I might have 3 appointments. And so I I feel her frustration, but also the fact that whenever a client just goes and gets a massage, goes and gets a facial, like the industry automatically wants to charge them 20%, 30%, to me is very unreasonable because people can go and get a massage or a facial for different reasons. There's a lot of wellness and benefits to go and getting facials and getting your nails done. But when the industry doesn't want to pay the employees that are doing the actual work hourly and a wage that can pay like their bills pretty much, it is a huge problem. And I don't know how like the industry can fix it because it really depends on the employer. The employer is the one that has to change it, and people got to start maybe speaking out about it because if they don't tip, they are like when I don't get tip, let's say a month that I don't get tip, I literally cannot just go and buy food, or I have to ask to borrow money for my dogs to buy them food. So it does impact us when the customers don't want to tip, because the person that is working literally does um goes by the tips, if that makes sense. Also, like if a lot of estheticians have their own spot, all the money's going to them, you know? So it's up to you if you want to tip. It's up to you if you want to tip it, if you go into a companies as well. But I can understand her frustration. And I also understand the other lady not wanting to tip because her service wasn't good. And what if her service was good? She doesn't have to tip. It's not a requirement. She literally does not have to tip. And whenever, like for example, when I go and eat, like the other day, my mom and I went to eat, the ticket was 120 and I paid for it, and we had such a great time. It was my pleasure to take my mom to eat. It was my pleasure to, you know spend that time with her. But then when the bill comes out, they're expecting 35%, 40%, even 20%. Why can't I just leave $10 for my mom and I want to have that choice. But I understand, like, they're getting paid 250 an hour. However, they have multiple tables too. So if I give them $10 in that 1 hour, and the other table gives them another $10, now you make $20 in that hour, right? Because they don't just have one table an hour, they have like three, four different tables. So they can make money, and they do make more money. When you're in the treatment room as a massage therapist or as an esthetician, you're only with that one person. It's not like you have different tables, right? You're only with that one person. And a lot of the times, depending on the culture, because in other countries they don't tip. It's not normal. I went to Costa Rica. I never was asked to tip. We did leave money in the table, but never was asked to tip. And so other countries, it's not something that you do all the time. But here in the United States, in America, it's so, like, it's a way for the people that are around that survive to survive, pretty much. And it's annoying and frustrating for the workers who don't get tip, and also for the people that just want to go out and eat. And maybe that's all they have, and they just want to go out and eat. And it's not fair for them just to stay at home just because they can't tip. A tip is literally a tip started back in the day when a generous person thought, you know what, I wish I can give you a tip because you did a great job. And it was their choice. But now, like, the industries, they charge the client. For example, if you come and get a facial, they charge the client $120. Out of those $120, they expect you to pay $250. Now, when you pay $250, they want you to, oh yeah, sorry, I got confused there. So they I was thinking, because where I work at, they have a treatment that is $250, and for that treatment that is $250, the employer told me that they needed to take about $4 to $5. It was like $4 to like $10 actually, that they wanted to take away from the 250, because they needed to recoup all the product back and the machine cost back. And so, but not to worry, because the client was going to tip around $50 for that service. And I'm like, why are they already assuming that the client's going to pay me to do a treatment on them $50 as gratuity? Like, they're already thinking that. And to me, that's very wrong. It's not right. And it's nothing that we can do, because I even texted the president of the company that, that it wasn't fair. If I was doing the treatment for $250, you are already charging the client for those machines and the product. And because I am a W-2 employee, So I'm paying hourly, and hourly, I mean, we only get paid whenever we have a client. If we don't have a client, we don't get paid. And that's the same thing with massage therapists. That's the same thing with estheticians. I'm guessing this the people that work at the restaurants, they get paid hourly 250, and then whenever they have a table, they get all those tips, right? But it is a problem in both sides, because if people don't want to tip, it does impact us. And and people do have the right not to tip, and it's a shame that it shouldn't be like that. We should be able to get paid hourly, and clients don't have to tip at all, unless they want to. But companies, they have taken advantage of that. They have taken advantage. Oh, they like to tip, so we're just going to take less money, take more money for the employee, and let the clients tip. And that's what's happening. And you go to Indeed, and it says right there, $34 an hour for esthetician. You get there and they tell you, oh yeah, that's because we're assuming that you're gonna get tips, but it's $14, $15 an hour, and or $20 an hour. So when we have clients during the week, it might be like 5 clients total. If those 5 clients we had total in the week don't tip, we don't make money. And like this lady said, if you don't like what you do, then go and find a job. Go and find a different job. But in my case, I want to be a licensed esthetician, so it's not that easy to just switch a career just because they're not giving you tips. But yes, it does suck to feel like you have to give a gratuity. But my job as an esthetician is always to do a great job. It's always to go above and beyond, so the client can feel that I'm doing a great job for them, and that I actually went above and beyond, so I can have gratuity. And I mean, sometimes you go above and beyond and clients don't leave gratuity still. And what can you do? Nothing. I have some clients that they my repeat clients, they don't give me gratuity, and I still do a great job every time, because that's the right thing to do. And they are not obligated to give me gratuity at all. But I mean, it sure helps, but it's not something that they have to do. And that's the problem. The employers are kind of ruining it for everybody, because they still charging the clients 120 for a facial. We're not getting that money. They are. They're paying us very little hourly, and they expect the client to give us $20 gratuity, $30 gratuity, and a lot of the clients can't do that. And so that is a problem. But I think in the restaurant industry, you do have like 3 or more tables at the same time, where you can make, you know, if you have 4 tables and they all give you $10 in that hour, you made 40. So that's good. But, okay, let's see what these people are saying here. Tips should be banned. Business needs to pay up. I really think that's true. Tips should be banned, and because it affects us when employees hire us based on tips, it does affect us. And a lot of estheticians, they go thinking they're gonna make all this money and they're gonna get paid so much, but it's not like that. You don't get paid a lot, and it truly is a problem, and nobody really talks about it, because when you get tipped, you feel happy and you make pretty good money like that. The waitress is totally out of line. Yeah, I think it's not okay for her to go out there and try to give her tip based on that big ticket, based on that 320. And I get it. When I do facials, when I do this treatment that is 250, and I get tipped, $15 or $20. It's like, man, I did all that work, and I got tipped $20. But even $20, I'm very grateful, because it's 1 hour and I'm very thankful. But whenever it's like 10, 15, it's like I did so much work, and you know or sometimes I don't even get tipped. I do the treatment and I don't even get a tip. And I understand, like, what can I do? You know, I can't tell them, like, hey, you need to give me a tip. But sometimes I'm struggling, like paying bills, doing stuff. And I feel the frustration and I want to tell people, but you can't. You can't. And it's a frustration that you feel it. And then on top of that, in my case, my boss takes $3 to $4 out of that treatment because they feel that they need to make their money back. You know, it's just crazy because they don't struggle at all. They don't struggle at all, but they like to take money from the employees, but they want the employees to do a great job at the same time. All right, so let's keep going. I believe the entire salary of wait staff should be paid by the restaurant owner, not by the customers. That's exactly. And I don't know how this can be changed in the future, but it really needs to be changed because they're charging the customer an arm and a leg. They're charging them a lot. And the employees are not making this money. I know people come and get facials and they're thinking, oh yeah, she's getting the money from the facial. I'm not. I get paid hourly and then I get paid tips. When I make my money is when people tip me. Your boss should be ashamed, not the guest. Yeah, she should be running to her boss like that. She should be running to the boss and telling them like exactly what she said to her. But you know, they're not gonna care. She's working in a restaurant. They're not gonna care. Um, but you know, even me working where I work right now, they care so much for you to sell their products, but they don't care to pay you enough so you can do the extra work. Because after the appointment is over, you're not getting paid for those 15 minutes that you're talking to the client about their products and why they need it and all that stuff, moving their product, selling their product out of their shelves. But they do worry how much product you've sold, if you're not making your sales. They do care about that, but they don't pay you that moment, that hourly where you're selling to people, right? So true, a tip is a choice, not a must. Yeah, that's true. The waitress is going way too far. People have the right not to tip if they didn't like the service. Wow. I'm so proud of this waitress. I'm so proud of this waitress. All right. The waitress deserves a tip on a 318 bill. The lady should be ashamed. This is another thing. And as a person who receives tips, I get upset when the employer or even like people in general think that they got a tip based on a dollar amount. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be because you order 318, now you need to pay 20% or 30% of that. Even if it was a great service. It should be whatever you want to do, whatever you want to tip. If the order is 500 and a great tip for you is $10, that should be okay. It shouldn't be ashamed. It shouldn't feel like you can't do it like that. It shouldn't feel that, oh, she's cheap, because your job is not to pay people their hourly. 318, 20% of that, that's a lot. 30% of that, that's a lot. For a meal, it's basically a whole 2 meals. Excuse me. The waitress is wrong to chase customers. The waitress has a new nerve. Waitress has a nerve. Yeah. A tip is the choice of the customer. Sorry, the waitress is crazy. If she's the RN, she makes more than enough to buy eggs. Yeah, but also RNs, they have to pay a lot in school, a lot. But if you're in a restaurant, like I said earlier, you have those tables. You will make at least $40 an hour if everybody tips $10. You shouldn't want that 318, 20% of that. That's insane. The waitress need to wake up and smell the roses and understand that tips are extra. Gosh, it has the woman right now to tip the waitress. What a shame she is aggressively being for tips. Yeah. I mean, she's probably struggling with money because that's what happens.
At the risk of being called broke, I gotta ask. Can we all admit that this tipping shit has gotten out of control? And don't get me wrong, restaurants, I get it. Waitresses, waiters, I know y'all only making about 45 cents an hour. That's crazy. So I get it. The minimum I tip is about 15%, and I could tip up to 100% of the bill. It just depends on how I'm feeling. The drunker I am, the more I'm finna tip. You understand me? But if I'm placing an order online for some food, and you're making me pay online, like there's no option for me to pay at pickup, don't ask me for no damn tip. I ain't even seen the food yet. What? I haven't even seen the food. I don't know what's going on with the food. I could get there and it looked like trash, and I'm already tipped 20%. You got to be kidding. What? And not to mention you folks that be providing services. I just seen this video. This girl went to go get a massage. They asked her to pay for the massage before she got the massage, and then asked for a tip before she got the massage, and then got mad when she tipped like 10%. What? That's crazy. What be on y'all's mental for real? Why not just increase your, if you want the tip that bad, increase your prices. At the risk of being called broke,
I completely understand that because I work front desk at the in the beauty industry, and we had clients that they would just come in and be like, I just want to check out, and so after I'm done with the massage or facial, I can just leave. And we will always like encourage them to do 18, 20%, especially if we knew that the person was good, and they always go above and beyond. But I know it's wrong to ask them at the beginning, but then again we go back to that's what they make an hour, like their tips. And but it's because the employers don't want to pay, so it's not necessarily the person. We got to put it back on the employer because they're the ones who don't want to pay a livable wage or a living based on their skills, based on like what they're what they're doing. So a lot of people, when I worked at front desk, like I said, they will want to tip 2018 most of the time. And I mean, sometimes like even if they don't like the service, we will always ask, so do you still want to leave a tip? Just because we know like that, that's what you do. Let's see what people are saying here. um Chile, I took my son to get frozen yogurt that literally put together himself, and they asked for a tip at checkout. It was so confused. I was so confused. All you did was ring us up. I was in Scotland in October, and I was explaining why we tip servers the $2 an hour BS, and he looked at me dead in the eyes and said, so the employer is having its patrons pay its employees? Yeah, to me that never makes sense. Why are the guests having to pay for the service and also to us? Like it makes no sense. And who's taking all that money for the service? The employers, because in the beauty industry, products don't cost that much. A little jar of like eye cream lasts for like 3 months or more. And it's cheap because they buy it in a bulk as well. But it's not, but and then we get paid hourly. So they're keeping all that money, and they don't want to, they're keeping it. They don't want to share it. Had a garage door repairman pay screen ask for a tip. Like, isn't that your job? Right. That's another thing. I went to go and get my nails done a while back, like a few months back. I don't have them done right now for the same reason that if I go and get my nails done, I wanted to get a manicure because I work a lot with my hands. So I wanted to get like a really nice hand massage. And when I get there, the manicure is $20. And on top of that, it's like a 20% gratuity. And so I asked her, so what's included in the hand massage? Well, it's just like lining the nail, cutting the nail, cleaning your cuticle, that's all. And I said, so it's $20, but there's no like hand massage. She's like, no, but you can upgrade to 35 and then you will get a 7-minute hand massage. And I was thinking, 7 minutes? Hand massage for 7 minutes? And then on top of that, they're gonna want a gratuity. So I didn't end up getting the manicure that day because I really felt disappointed. And in the past, when I go and get my nails, I like to get dips because I work with a lot of product, so I like to get dips. Well, I went to get my nails done. It was 45, and they don't do anything extra. It's not like they go and massage your hand for extra. They just do your nails. Like they literally just do their job. Like they do their job. That's all. Like they don't go above and beyond that I can be like, wow, that experience was so different. I have never experienced anything like that before. I'm going to give her a tip, a 20% tip at that. No, they they just do their job and then they expect you to tip as a requirement. It just feels like a requirement, like they're not going above and beyond. I mean, like you go and get your toes done, you go and get your nails done. Let me know in the comments below, like, do you feel like they go above and beyond when you do that? When I do my facials, I like to go above and beyond because I'm expecting them to feel like, wow, I never had a facial like that. I never felt cared for like that. I want them to walk out feeling very different. And so to me, when I get a tip, it feels rewarding. And whenever they don't tip, I feel like maybe did I do something wrong? Did I do something wrong? Or what can I fix next time? And I would like to ask them, is there anything that I can fix for you next time? But I understand they don't have to tip me. They could have loved the service. They don't have to tip me, right? So I don't ask that. But in other places, they're just literally doing their job and they expect you to tip 18 to 20% or more. It's the 18 to 20% automatic gratuity for a table of one. Why am I tipping 18 for cheese sticks and nachos? True. I went to a restaurant and had 2 tip lines, one for the server and one for the kitchen. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, because why am I tipping when I'm picking up? I used to, but my husband said, "Why are you picking up like they are delivering? Or why are you tipping like they are?" Wait, sorry. Okay, because why am I tipping when I'm picking up? I used to, but my husband said, "Why are you? Why? You are picking up. They are delivering." I don't think they wrote that right. Yep, I only tip at restaurants now. I went to a restaurant and I went to a restaurant to pick up food and they tried to tell me I had to tip the cashier because he came to work on his birthday. It's just getting way out of hand. I went to car wash. The machine washes the car and I have to vacuum. The machine asked if I wanted to leave a tip. Oh my gosh. The chain restaurant I work at raised their prices. My tips are lower now. Oh my gosh. That's another thing. If they charge more, the tips are gonna be way less. And I actually have done that where I go to a place it used to be cheaper and they raise their prices. Now I got a tip list because I still get paid the same. It's not like I'm getting paid more. I got my windshield replaced, and I was thinking, should I tip? They had the option, but I thought it was weird. Barber tried to book an appointment online. There was a fee to make the appointment online, then $10 tip was automatically added. Never seen that guy cut. Billion-dollar corporations, million-dollar companies have convinced a lot of the public that they don't have to pay a living wage, and we should not only pay for the product but pay for the wages. True. I agree like every place I agree like every place asks for tips. It's brutal. It is brutal. I ordered online and gave a tip, but I got to park my car and got and pick up my food even though your signs say call this number. All right, next video.
You gave an $8 tip. What the hell are you looking for? I gave an $8. Okay, I'm gonna bring the food back. I'm gonna bring the food back. Okay. You can leave it, thank you. No, I could speak to you actually. I'm sorry? I need to speak to you. I don't think you realize where they're coming from, so I need to speak to you. Where what's coming from? Where the food you ordered is coming from. I don't think you realize the distance that it comes from, because then you would never actually have given what you gave. So I think you can come and meet face to face. Because I drove 40 minutes. And it was extremely far, and I got it to you early. So I don't think you realize where you ordered from. I don't understand. You well, 4 minutes from where? From the restaurant that you ordered from. Do you realize how far it is? Do you realize you ordered from Colmac and you're in Smithtown? That's a 15-20 minute drive. It's not. You need to try to drive it. I just drove it. It's 40 minutes. It's 12 and a half miles. So I don't think you realize how far it is. So I think you have to pick up if you think it's that far. They don't let us know how far. So I think you need to adjust your tip. Right. How much is the tip? You gave an $8 tip. What the hell are you looking for? I gave an $8. Okay, I'm gonna bring the food back. Okay. Okay. Is she fucking kidding? $8? That's a lot. 40 minutes it took her to get it? Okay. You gave an $8 tip.
Her car taking off. That's funny. Let's see what people said. I mean, this is unhinged behavior. You shouldn't.
I think it's safe to say that we can.
Oh, it just went to the next one. Okay. I don't know if I skipped to. I don't know if it's gonna go to the next one. Okay, let's go ahead and play this one. I'm sorry, guys.
All agree collectively in the United States that tipping culture has gone way too far. Call me cheap, call me frugal. I am quite frugal, actually. But call me whatever you want to call me. I do not care. I'm done with the tipping culture in this country. So I went to... Okay. I went to go pick up my plant, my alocasia, at this plant store, like a very local plant store in my neighborhood. Say hi, Allie. I'm going to name her Allie Wong, back there, as you can see. And I went in there already knowing what I'm going to get. I did not bother anyone. I did not ask for any help. I walked around the store myself. I picked up my plants myself. Nothing. There was no exchange of conversation with a single sales associate. Not one. So I got up there and I took out my card to pay. And this sales associate, who didn't even bother to say, hello, welcome in, nothing. After I paid, turns her little iPad around. And I'm sure this is coming from the people at the top. They're asking them to do this. She turns her iPad around and her iPad had No option but 20%, 30%, and 50% tip on top of a $30 plans that I picked out myself. And then there ensues a very long stare down, in R. Kelly's word. And I look at her, and she looked at me, and I looked at her. Because what you're not going to do is emotionally blackmail me with my own money. So we're standing, what feels like for, I think it must have been like 5 minutes or maybe 5 seconds. I don't know. It was a state of purgatory that felt forever and a day. Then she proceeds to let out a very long theatrical sigh, flips the iPad around, does something in there, and comes back around and gives me my receipt. And so I grabbed my receipt and I left, and I grabbed my McDonald's, my chicken nuggets, honey, with the money that I was going to use to tip her. And I was never going to tip her. I am done. This being rude about it, and the fact that like almost everywhere you go now, you don't even get a choice anymore. Like you don't get a choice. You must tip is insane. Why would I tip on something that I just picked up myself? I didn't ask for help. What am I tipping you for? For your actual job? Why is your boss not paying you enough? And why are you working a job where you're so angry at me for like just picking up my planks and wanting to pay? I'm done with tipping culture. I'm only tipping if I'm sitting down somewhere getting service or my Uber driver. That's it. Most other
I used to Uber drive, and when I did it, because this was prior to whenever it wasn't that popular, tipping wasn't a deal. Like it wasn't that important. People were not tipping. It wasn't in the app. Some people would give me like $5. Some people would give me $20 if I was taking them to the airport. $5. But I never felt like they had to tip me. I never felt it was their duty to tip me. I just took them to wherever they needed to go. I knew the app was paying me for the mileages that I was putting in the car, for the miles that I was driving them to their destination. But I never thought I need to get tipped every time. Like that lady going into that person's and saying, hey, it's $8 tip only. You need to adjust. Before, we didn't have that until like the reasons 5 years ago that they started implementing more of a tipping culture.
culture, mine included, where I'm from, it is insulting to just offer someone money on top of whatever their job is. Like people will take umbrage to that, like, why are you offering me money? Like you think I'm poor or something? You're calling me poor? Why would you offer me free money? Only in America do we do this nonsense, and it has to stop. There has to be a cap on it. It's gone too far. These companies are depending on us to pay their employees' bills. It should not work like that. I understand that we all got to eat. I'm eating myself, but enough is enough.
She's right. Definitely, like the employer is the one that needs to
I think
pay
it's
them.
safe to say that we
But
can all agree.
but I don't know how it can change. How can it change where the employer is the one that is paying their employees? I don't think they will anytime soon. I mean, leave in the comments below if you think, of a way that they can actually implement it, because in my head, they're not going to care and they're not going to do it because they're not the one suffering. And then the person getting hired, like for me, I got hired as an esthetician where I only get paid if I get appointments, and it's low that I need to get tips on top of that. And then you might say, why don't you go and get another job then that pays you more? But it's not that easy. It's not that easy when you have bills, when you have other things to take care of, and when you have built a clientele. It really falls back on the employer, and then not being selfish and them wanting to actually pay their employees and not charge the customer. The customer should literally want to just tip $5, $10 just because it was a great, amazing service, but not have to have this burden of like, oh, I need to tip $20 because that's literally what they make an hour. So let's read some of the comments here. Once, when I was a teen, the hottest chased us down outside the restaurant for a tip after she ignored us. My mom almost blacked out on that woman. Oh, the hostess. I'm sorry. I suck at reading. That's what happens when English is your second language. All right, let's see what this other person is saying. I've learned that this generation wants something out of nothing. That hopes for selling and tipping. I only tip for good services and my own by my own choices. I understand going to get dinner, but no for my coffee, etc. And no one is making me feel bad for it. Yeah, I don't tip when I go and get other services. I'll only tip whenever I'm sitting in a restaurant. That's the only time, or if I'm getting a massage or a facial. That's the only time I tip. I have seen like at Starbucks, I have seen the baristas being super nice to me, and today give me that tablet, and I'm not tipping. Then they get serious, and they're not nice anymore. Like they don't care for me anymore. When I was in Miami earlier this year, the thing that got me was them adding 18% to the bill, then asking for a tip when you enter your card details. This is my main reason for not going out to restaurants, and I'm forced to tip even for bad service. Yeah, it's true. I'm so over this tipping situation as well. Let me just stay my ass at home and order everything online. You still being asked online to tip.
I think we can all agree that tipping culture has gotten completely out of control, at least here in America. Watch what happens when this guy goes to a self-checkout kiosk at the airport to try and purchase this bottle of water.
I'm in a cheapo express at the airport. There are no employees, right? So, wait for this. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna get an iced tea or something.
Now remember, there's no employees at the counter here.
Period. That's all I want. Now, I'm not gonna see any employees. I'm not seeing it. All this is what I see. I see a checkout here, right? Okay.
All by yourself.
Scan it. Okay. Now, I'm gonna flip you around so you see what I see. See that? So I'm gonna say next. Would I like to leave a tip? I have not seen a single employee. I have scanned my own Perrier, and now the robot wants me to tip it. Should I do like 18%? I think 20%.
I think we can all agree that tipping culture has gotten completely out of control, at least here in America.
This is controversial and it will piss off some of you, but normalize clicking no tip on the iPad. Normalize it! Because I am dead tired of paying for things that should not be tippable. Like, I just went to a coffee shop to buy a bottle of water, and like the lady turns around, opens the fridge door, and pulls out a bottle of water, right? She shows me the iPad, like she turns it around, and then it's like 15, 18, 20. I'm like, girl, forgive me, no tip. But like, I'm sorry, like the way she like, I know the tipping prompt is like involuntary, like regardless of what I order, like it will pop up. But like, you look at me dead in the eyes and you flip that iPad and you show it to me, like, pretending like we don't both know what you're doing. I don't know, I think that's crazy to me. In fact, it's not even the worst of all examples. I think tipping culture has gone out of control. We should not be tipping for basic service. Like, what is next? Jesus. This is controversial and it will piss off.
So I usually never tip when I go out to eat or when I get food or anything like that. I think tipping is not necessary. I feel like it's not my responsibility as a customer to subsidize wages. Like, it's not my fault that you don't get paid enough, so I'm not gonna tip you just because you decided to work in this industry. And fun fact, in Japan, if you tip, they take it as you're belittling them or insulting them. Like it's offensive to them if you tip. So maybe they should do the same thing here. If I have bad service, I won't be tipping. If I'm eating at a buffet, I won't be tipping. What are you doing? I'm getting my own food. All you're doing is coming around every once in a while and clearing the plates and giving me something to drink. I'm not gonna tip because I'm getting my own food. Thank you very much. If I am ordering to go, I am not tipping. Nope. Zero. Not tipping. If I am at the mall and I order pretzels or I order, Dippin' Dots, no, I'm not tipping either. I'm pressing 0 on that tip screen. You want to know the only people that I tip? Strippers. Because they're giving you a service. They're putting a whole act for you. They deserve that tip and more. So I usually never tip when I go out to eat or when I get food or
And estheticians are putting it like a service, like we're reading the skin. Where a massage therapist also is doing like a service. It's an interchangeable thing that you guys are doing. And if you got massages and facials, whenever a esthetician is good or a massage is good, and like when you're down sitting, there's 3 things you gotta tip on. Just massage therapists, estheticians, and restaurants, and everything else you don't got to. They doing literally what they supposed to be doing. The barista at Starbucks supposed to be nice to you. She's supposed to be greetable to you. They supposed to hand you their coffee to you. Your coffee to you. You're paying for what they're doing, like their service, like they're getting paid hourly. It just makes no sense. Let's read some of the comments here. And
this woman lost her mind when she saw an extra 44.
Okay. I'm sorry. It went into the next video. So let's go ahead and take a look at this video. This one will be the last one. And then I will read some of the comments and then we'll go from there, okay?
Dollars was added to her bill. This TikToker being so famous is starting a massive debate online after posting a video showing her questioning the restaurant staff about the gratuity added to her bill.
And why is it $44? It's the tip. The tip? Y'all didn't put that shit on there? Yeah.
This clip has everyone divided online, with some people arguing that the 20% gratuity was excessive, while others felt that tipping generously, considering the rising cost of living, was justified. This woman lost her mind when she saw an extra $44 was added.
Oh, sorry, just exit everything. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this one right here.
Okay, so you're black, therefore you don't have to tip. Is that what that means? Hey guys, I just want a little bit of clarification. What does this mean?
I don't know.
You don't know what black means?
I do.
Okay, so what did you mean whenever you wrote it on the gratuity?
I'm talking about me.
Okay, so you're black, therefore you don't have to tip. Is that what that means?
Oh, I didn't know that it mean not tip. I'll tip you.
It's fine. I just wanted to know why you wrote that on your check.
That was for me, but I'll tip you if you have.
No, I don't care if you tip me or not.
No,
I just want to know.
I wanted to tip you. I didn't know what that meant.
So you wrote black?
That's what he.
Is that your favorite color or?
No.
Okay.
That's what he told me to write.
Okay. Well,
Well, can I tip you?
I mean, if you, I mean, if that's what you want to do, I'm not begging you for a tip. I just want to know why you wrote black on your check.
He told me to, but I want to tip. I was wanting to tip you.
Oh,
They were trying to be funny. I feel like that's rude to write something like that. To write anything else, then to write anything in there, it's rude unless you're gonna leave a tip or not leave anything. If you're not gonna leave anything, just don't write anything. They probably were just trying to be funny. Let's see what the messages or the comments say. Okay, there you go. This one worked. All right, let's see. Asking for a tip at Cold Stone is wild. Wearing a 300 pair of shoes and not tipping is wild. But then again, it's what they want to do with their money, with their hard-earned money. They shouldn't have to tip. They shouldn't have to feel that it's a required thing because it's not. I couldn't hear anything after gratuity. good job, lady. If their parents won't teach them manners, I'm guessing this Franz said leave it blank and he misread it. Franz, he wrote it like that. Franz. Gratuity. Did I catch that right? Yeah, that's what we're calling it. We're not even calling it tip anymore. We're calling it gratuity because it sounds nicer. Tipping is starting to have a little bit of a bad connotation. So they're changing the wording to gratuity. That's what the wellness industry, the beauty industry is using, gratuity. We're not using tipping anymore. And y'all know my thoughts on this anyways already. That's kind of funny. NGL, but why is she pressing him for not tipping? I don't know what NGL means. Anyways, I just wanted to share these videos with you guys because to me it's very important to tip whenever is required, or not required, but whenever it makes sense to tip, and not tipping wherever it doesn't make sense, such as fast foods, coffee shops, Panera. Panera is always asking for tips, man. Always, always. But definitely, like, if you want to tip for services, restaurants, massage therapists, estheticians, if you truly like their service, tip. But don't feel obligated. If you go and get your nails done and they go above and beyond, which oftentimes they don't, they do their job. They're supposed to do a good job because they're doing your nails. They're doing your nails, you know. So, and they charging you, if they give you an extra massage, they're charging you $1 per minute if you're getting extra massage. So there you go, their tip, right? What are they doing extra for you? Giving you a drink? Keep the drink. It will be cheaper for me to just bring my own drink. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great day, and thank you so much for joining me. I will see you in the next video.